Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today on an overcast Thursday that was originally predicted to have a little bit of flurry activity. That didn't happen. It was originally predicted to have rain, intermittent all throughout the day. That didn't happen. But the clouds, at least, have happened and have stuck around. And I have three periodicals and three packages. And all three of the packages are boxes. And all three of the periodicals are terrific in their own way. For instance, the first one is the Martha's Vineyard Gazette. With a great cover photo there, a race taking off. There you have the Black Dog Cafe, and this is the local broadsheet newspaper for the island of Massachusetts, off the coast of Massachusetts, where I am the book reviewer. It's just we're in the off season, or it's not summer, so I haven't had a book from them in a while. They haven't run a book review in a while. And then the next one is the New York Review of Books, one of the greatest literary journals, literary review journals. Being published in English, except for this issue, which was one after another long pieces written about fairly trivial or by-the-way books. And I don't know if that's because this is kind of a stopgap issue. Maybe they're just unloading stuff from their piece inventory in the lead up to the holidays, or maybe in the aftermath of Thanksgiving. But I'm trying to remember if there was anything in here that that really interested me. And I don't think there was. Jake Bernstein reviews that book, American Kleptocracy, that we saw on this channel. There's a bunch of books about the Aztecs, including that one by Fernando Cervantes, Conquistadors, that we saw on this channel. But most of it not. Most of it stuff that these are writers that I will very much want to read, but not about books that I very much want to read, which detracts a slight thrill. I mentioned before on this channel, it's a particular thrill if you are a reviewer to open a review journal like the New York Review of Books and see that someone else has reviewed a book that you have reviewed. That's a particular thrill. And for me, the thrill is undimmed if it's someone reviewing a book that I am going to review but haven't reviewed yet. Most of my reviewing brethren or my colleagues don't do that. They won't read a review of something if they haven't written their own review of that something yet. I guess because they worry about contamination or unconscious mimicking or unconscious borrowing or whatever. I don't know what the reason is. Those sound, I guess, relatively valid to me, but to put it mildly, it's not a problem that I have. I know what I think about things. I'm not worried that I'm going to start echoing some putz' opinions. And then the third periodical is the Bedford Times Press from scenic Bedford, Iowa. A little small-town Iowa newspaper. You open it up. The very first thing you see when you open it on the inside is my column. My ex libris column. Look at that. 3 columns going all the way down the page. What is this one about? Let's see. Yes, okay. This one is, this column is about November books, November releases, but of course people don't get to these things as fast as I do. So a column about November releases is hardly outdated in early December. But I did an earlier column on the big heavy-duty titles that were coming out in November in the publishers' lists, where all of the big heavy histories and whatnot are usually scheduled for late October, November, or early December. And then I thought, well, no, that needs a column about the lighter stuff. And I did that. That's what this column is, a column about lighter stuff in November. And that column, I have learned, is paywall. The Bedford Times Press paywalls its material. Which you can't really blame them for, right? You don't want this stuff just everywhere if your authors are doing it for you. However, the subscription to the Bedford Times Press is pretty small. It's pretty small. And that subscription gets you my column every week. I write a column for the Bedford Times Press that is nowhere else in the world, and it shows up every week. And I have a blast. For the first time in longer than a lot of you have been alive, I get to say now, I write my column on the weekend. That is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. It is a register of writing. Not only is it an Iowa venue, which I've wanted for years, but it's a register of writing that I'd forgotten how much I liked. There's a particular register to writing a column. It's different from writing a review. It's different even from writing a blog post. It's different. I don't know how to describe it. I've done it before many times, and I always forget how much I love it. So I'll leave a link down below to the Bedford Times Press if you feel like subscribing, if you don't want to miss a Steve column, if you perhaps want to create a little album of Steve columns. The only thing I ask, aside from the fact that you pony up your money, I think it's $25 a year, something like that, for a column every week. That's not bad, but I'm a little biased. But no, aside from ponying up the money, the only thing I ask, of course, is that if you subscribe to the Bedford Times Press only to get my column, feel free to drop a note to that effect in the email to the editor. She and I get on like a house of fire, so I'm on pretty good standing. But with freelancers, with freelance hacks, it always helps for people to know, for your editors to know that you are well liked, that your stuff is, that people are going out of their way to read you. That's always a little insurance. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, except in Iowa, where I guess it's really not. But I'd still like you to do it. I'd still like you to do it. And the other call to action, as long as I'm being a sexy influencer and making call to actions, is the same as it's been. Which is, if you have a small-town paper, this is a little thing. If you have a small-town paper, local paper of note, type of thing that publishes 911 calls, police calls, graduation records, whatnot, and you'd like to liven it up a little, and you think the editor of that paper might be amenable to running this column, feel free to have them get in touch, either with my editor at the Bedford Times Press, her email is right there on the website, or with me. Just feel free. This column could be in your own paper. That's what I'm saying. Then we'll get on to the packages. They're all boxes, but the first one can barely go to the box convention and hold its head up because it's so tiny. I suspect this is probably a slim volume of poetry. Well, what else could be this small? Let's see here. Oh, no. Okay, great. This is the finished copy of something we've already seen. This comes out in early January. This is a new translation of some of the earliest stories of Tanizaki. How fantastic is that? From Columbia University Press. One of the most eminent Japanese writers of the 20th century, renowned for his investigations of family dynamics, eroticism, and cultural identity. Most acclaimed for his post-war novels such as the Makioka Sisters, Tanizaki made his literary debut in 1910. This book presents 3 powerful stories of family life from the first decade of his career that foreshadow the themes the great writer would go on to explore. I've already read this. I squeezed it in a technicality because I've read, I think, English versions of these things before. So it wasn't really reading new stuff, but I'm very happy to know this is going to be a very attractive trade paperback in your stores in January. That's great. That's just great. So we'll put this on the pile here. I'm a little bit distracted because in the neighborhood there have been gas-powered leaf blowers all day long. No sooner would a guy pick one up, blow all the leaves to one side, have the wind blow them right back, blow them all over again, have the wind blow them back, blow them all over again, have them stay there, and then point the gas-powered leaf blower at the sidewalk because he's lost his mind, the way operators of gas-powered leaf blowers do, inevitably lose their mind, and need to be shot. The police need to come, surround them, and shoot them off the machine. They won't stop on their own. Even if they're pointing at concrete, even if children are crying, even if neighbors are screaming at them, even if people are pelting them with rocks, they won't stop. And that's been happening all day. No sooner does one person get shot off their gas-powered leaf blower than another one shows up. The cops have to come back and just unload 50 more rounds into their head. And there's a noise in the background. I know I'm chattering a lot, so you probably can't hear it. Maybe the microphone is picking that up. There's a noise in the background because it started up again. You can hear the children screaming because these men aren't human anymore. They're very frightening, very dangerous, which is why the Boston Police Department and most other urban police departments have a shoot-on-sight order for men operating gas-powered leaf blowers. So I don't know if that sound is going to overpower the video. We'll get going and stop at 15 minutes just in case. We've got 2 more boxes to go. Always the drama of gas-powered leaf blowers. Oh, oh, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. All right, this is by Jeffrey Lovitch and Whit Gibbons. We've seen this already, but we haven't seen the physical book. This is Turtles of the World, a guide to every family. Look at the wall. Look at the wall. This comes out on December 7th, so this is out in, Tuesday. Reveals the extraordinary diversity of these amazing reptiles. Characterized by the bony shell that acts as a shield to protect the softer body within, turtles are survivors from the time of the dinosaurs and are even more ancient in evolutionary terms than snakes and crocodilians. Of more than 350 species known today, some are highly endangered. In this beautiful guide, turtle families, subfamilies, and genera are illustrated with hundreds of color photographs. Each genus profile includes a population distribution map, a table of information, and commentary that includes notable characteristics and discussions of related species. And this has just photos all throughout. Let's see if we can get some of the data. Yeah, there we go. There were the data. So the lifespan of the animal, its distribution, there's just a tiny tip of Africa. Things like that. Fantastic. As far as natural history guides go, can't ask for better than this. Just can't. Turtles of the World. Oh boy. So the physical copy, that's great. I am working as part of Project Harrigan. I am working on a nature bookcase. A whole bookcase devoted to nature. Just pulling things from everywhere and putting it there, and so that I know how many I have, I know whether or not I have it in duplicates, that sort of thing. And this is a keeper for that bookcase. I know that already. So I don't have any, there won't be any better turtle guide that I will find at the Brattle some random day. And then we have this last one, and then we'll be done. Before the gas-powered leaf blower gets to this area of the street, and before I don't want to subject my poor little daffodil viewers to the sound of gunfire. When the gas-powered leaf blower operator is summarily executed. Okay, we have another natural history book. Fantastic. Okay, this one also comes out on December 7th. And this is by Peter Davey, and it's called Crabs, A Global Natural History. Kindly get your thoughts out of the gutter. You know who you are. Look at that. Look at how beautiful this is. It's oversized, right? So it's bigger than the turtle book. It's wider than the turtle book. It's an oversized hardcover that'll be in your bookstores next week, along with the turtle book. And this is just gorgeously illustrated. Look at those beauties. Good Lord. And it'll be the same thing. See, this will give you their distribution, a quick chart of characteristics, and then some discussion. Look at this one. This is the Sally Lightfoot crab. Very beautiful thing, but look at how tiny its distribution is. Just a little whisker of land that it still lives on. Let's hear about crabs, shall we? This lavishly illustrated book offers a remarkable look at the world's crabs. More than 7,000 crab species and 100 different families are known today. Their unique physiology and complex behavior have made them one of the most diverse and adaptable of all animal groups. They can thrive in the darkness of the abysmal seas, on the edges of scalding hot volcanic hypothermic vents, on sunlit coral reefs, on wave-washed rocky shores, and in tropical rainforests at the tops of mountains. They even persist in some of the harshest desert conditions. Playing a vital role in marine and coastal ecology, crabs have been identified as a keystone species in habitats such as coral reefs and coastal tropical swamps. And the author, of course, is a worldwide authority on the subject. Great. Fantastic. Oh, my. 2 classic natural history guidebooks in one mail. That's just great. So we have Crabs, Global Natural History. Great. I don't have a single other book on crabs. Turtles of the World, a guide to every family. I don't, at the moment, have a single other book on turtles. And finally, Longing, or that's not true. That's not true. I have a book called Life on the Half Shell, which is about turtles. It's not this kind of a guidebook. It's more like an evolutionary guide, an evolutionary history of turtles. But it is still a natural history. So I have to find that. It now has a companion. And finally, Longing and Other Stories by Tanizaki. Fantastic. An author that you Mishima bros have never read and really should read. you Mishima bros should check out Tanizaki. Simple as that. No big deal. It's just no big deal at all. If you don't want to commit to the Makioka Sisters, it's a little bit on the long side, then find something shorter and read that. And the Murakami bros should check out Mishima. And then we also have the periodicals. We have the New York Review of Books, which I will scrutinize, even though it doesn't feel like I have a dog in the race, because I'm not going to read any of these books. So this is kind of weird. So it gets me closer to what I think probably the normal experience of reading a book review for most people is like. They're reading reviews of books that they are never actually going to read. For me, that is not true. At all. For me, I go into a mainstream book review like the New York Review of Books, expecting that I'm going to encounter book after book that I've either already read and reviewed, or at least plan to read and probably plan to read and review. It's a very involved, engaged type of arrangement. Whereas in this issue, no, hardly ever. I think there are 2 books in the entire table of contents that I either have read or am ever going to read. But we have the Vineyard Gazette, and the Bedford Times Press in small town Bedford, Iowa, to which you should subscribe so that you get my book column every week. Anyway, that's the mail for today. I'm going to go and watch the fireworks. It would be a little bit bloodthirsty, except as soon as these guys actually turn the gas-powered leaf blower on, they're not human anymore. Their soul's already gone. So it's not really even murder, which is why it becomes a kind of public spectacle. I'm going to go and take the bean and watch the fireworks, but I don't want to catch that on camera. So I will wrap this up for now, and we'll have to hope that the landscaping company, I mean, if they are willing to put a series of guys on these lethal machines in the course of one day, surely that's grounds for the Boston DA to open a case against them for negligent manslaughter. Surely that is the case. I mean, if you give a man on your grounds crew a gas-powered leaf blower, you know perfectly well the cops are going to come and shoot him off it. He's not going to turn it off on his own. He's just going to stand there pointing at concrete, no matter what anyone says to him, no matter what anyone does, no matter if he's pelted with rocks and garbage. He's still not going to do it. Anyway, I wouldn't want to rant or anything, so I'll just wrap this up. But I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.